Hey guys, Madison Alpha here from Macedon Strength and Performance, back today with another video, and today I wanted to talk about back pain. There's a lot of people that suffer from back pain, and as any of you know who do suffer from back pain, it can be absolutely and completely debilitating. It's one of the worst things you can experience, and there are all sorts of effects, not to mention it just sucks, right? So, this is an area that actually really annoys me out in the fitness field. Really pisses me off. I just saw a post yesterday about some guy who was suffering from pain in his lower back, and he had a tight performance and his glute was bothering him, and basically he's considering going, he's like, well, should I get a physio, should I do this, and when I just offered some value and some advice to him. I just let him know, well, this is probably stemming from instability in your mechanics, instability in your back, instability in your hips. And he wouldn't accept that. He's like, no, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, suit yourself. It's not like I've worked with, the top athletes in the world. I'm certified by Chris Duffin, who's a movement specialist. He's a world record holder, deadlifted over 1,000 pounds. Worked with Derek Poundstone, who's runner-up in World's Strongest Man. I've followed the work of Dr. Stuart McGill, who's the leading expert in back mechanics and, fixing back pain, right? I've fixed tons of clients of my own who are suffering from back pain, knee pain, hip pain, all sorts of different things. But what do I know? That's something about the fitness industry that drives me nuts and in general, but I'm not going to go too much down that rabbit hole because you'll get me just blabbering all day. So instead I want to come back, to the back pain, right? Oftentimes I'll find clients, I'll take on a client, and in the past they've gone to a doctor, and the doctor says, you're just gonna have to live with it. Here are some drugs. They throw some drugs at them. This will make it better, right? Give them some anti-inflammatories, give them even cortisone shots, which is all that. It just masks the issue, and it can sometimes create even greater issues. Sometimes they go to they've been to a physical therapist and they get a little bit better, but their problem doesn't really go away. And they try to integrate back into life and it comes back. Sometimes it comes back worse. Same thing with chiropractic, right? They go and it gets better, but it kind of comes back. Now, I want to say right here that I'm actually a huge fan of chiropractic. I'm a huge fan of physical therapy. These are both effective things. However, you need to know how to progress. Basically, like a physical therapist, or I've gone to chiropractic. I've worked with physical therapists. They can get you back from 0%, back to like 20%. But when you need to get back to full working order, where you're able to be squatting, deadlifting, and getting strong again, you got to be able to move past that. So, I've worked with people. I had a client who had a torn left meniscus. He wasn't able to put any pressure through his knee, and within 6 weeks we had him squatting again. He hadn't squatted in years, and all his pain was gone. Numerous people that have suffered from incredible back pain, and then 2 to 4 weeks it's gone. Myself, about 2 years ago, I was working a very, very manually labor-intensive job. It was basically 8 to 10 hours of non-stop running and lifting, very, very intensive. You were on a clock the entire time, so it was fucking brutal. And I ended up hurting I was also lifting outside of work as well, but I ended up hurting my back at work. It was not even lifting related. It was so bad. It was a sacral, it did damage to my sacrum, or for those that don't know, your sacrum is below your lumbar. It's where your spine integrates with your pelvis. It's where you're, there's a bunch of nerves that run through there for, your posterior chain, your glutes, hamstrings, and down the line. And anytime I would move, if it affects my hip, about 10 degrees, I'd be in excruciating pain. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't get out of bed without extreme discomfort. Not to mention not being able to work my manual labor job at that time. And then, but I knew I needed to, I was already at a place where I already knew, how to correct those issues. But I went to a chiropractor. I went for 3 sessions, got things back in place. But also, was doing a ton of work on myself, fixing my neuromuscular balances, reintroducing stability, and fixing some problems that had led to the injury in the first place. And then within about 1 month, I was fully functional again. I was at like 95%. Or like I was like 90% in a month, and then about 98% in like 2 months, and then within 6 months, I was pulling PRs on my deadlift. And I've had a lot of clients experience the very same thing. Now, what you have to understand about back pain stems from usually from spinal instability or hip instability. And what this does is when your spine doesn't want to move, it doesn't want to flex, it doesn't want to extend. You shouldn't have movement of your vertebrae. You want the system to be stable. Your body values your spine. Your spine is the house, the home of your central nervous system. In addition to the brain, a lot of our functions in our body actually don't even go all the way up to the brain. A lot of them just go to the spine and back out. So it's very, very important, right? And your body's not dumb. So it says, oh, fuck, something's, my spine is in danger. I need to do something to protect it. So it starts issuing all of these protective mechanisms, starts making things tight. It starts finding ways to create stability because there isn't any stability. And that's why you start getting tight muscles and you're like, this is always tight. My hip's always tight. Whatever the imbalance is, because it's the body trying to protect itself. But as soon as you start going back to the basics, fixing your basic neuromuscular mechanics and bracing properly, putting your spine in the proper position, using correct hip mechanics, feet mechanics, shoulder mechanics, depending on what kind of lift you're talking about, whatever it is, whether it's moving through daily life or lifting large loads, you need to be able to move with correct mechanics. So you need to go back to your breathing, your bracing, right? Most people can't even breathe right. If you can't breathe right, you can't brace right. You can't create intra-abdominal pressure. So you need to learn how to properly breathe, how to properly brace your spine, how to integrate your hips, how to integrate your feet. If your feet aren't working right, it doesn't matter if your hips are working right, it's going to throw off the chain. Your knees might start hurting. Vice versa, even if your ankles are working okay and your hips are not working okay, it's going to throw everything off. It's going to throw your back off, could throw your shoulder off as well. Because everything's connected and the body needs to be treated as a unit. So many people don't understand this, and this is also why when you go to more normal, mainstream type of practitioners, you only get so far because they only address one part of the puzzle. And they don't actually look at you every second part of your day and fix what the actual root cause of the issues are. So, right, because you spend all day breathing, walking, moving, sitting, laying, whatever it is you're doing, you're not with a practitioner during all that time. So if you're not putting in the work to fix your root cause mechanics and fixing the problem at its source, you're going to continue to suffer in pain. So if you're tired of suffering in pain and you want to find out more, and you're really fucking tired of just, trying to fix it, maybe it goes away a little bit, it comes right back, and maybe sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's a little bit better, but it's still there. If you're tired of nagging pains, if you're tired of not being as strong as you can be, if you're not tired of not being as big and reaching your full potential, being pain-free and being stronger every single day, if that's you, send me a message. Send me an inquiry. We'll talk and we'll see if you're a good fit for my very exclusive program. I only work with one type of person. It's a person who is highly motivated, someone who does the work. It's someone who listens to instruction and can be coached. It's someone who I enjoy working with. It's someone that we have a good relationship with. And most importantly, these are the people that see the most amazing, drastic, transformational results, which I deliver every single time. So if you're interested, send me a message or leave a comment down below, and I'll see you all guys in the next one. Peace.